Hello Saxo fans, episode 57. Right, two things in this episode and they're going to be interspersed between each other. So one, we're going to be talking about bodywork. As you know from the last one, I started stripping the car and dropped some stuff off to the body shop. I will have periodic updates through filming this video and I'll drop them in as and when they arrive. So yeah, throughout the video you'll see body shop updates. But the main content of this video, we're actually going to be building my proper exhaust system. So let's just show you what we're dealing with and yeah, we'll get started. Right, just before we look at exhaust, I just wanted to put in a little clip of the first batch of stuff that went over to the body shop. And I think it's at a stage where everything's in primer. So let's have a quick look at that and then we'll talk exhaust. Right, I think you'll agree, bodywork going well, everything in primer, so far so good. I've also stripped off all the other bits that need to go over in the next week or so, so doors and the boots and stuff's in my other car. So I'll drop off the rest of the stuff and hopefully all of the demountable bits will be in primer very soon. And obviously as soon as those updates come along, I'll let you know. Right, on to exhaust. So the first thing, we're going to get rid of the current system. V-band, 2 bolts up here, pull the lambda out. That'll drop off super easy. So as you know, it's a bumper exit. It sounds really cool, but it's totally not practical and will probably get me lots of attention that I don't want. So I might use it for shows and stuff like that. So I'll keep it on the shelf. So what we are going to do is make a proper system, 3-inch system all the way back, you know, probably a twin silencer system, albeit, you know, fairly limited sizes. I still want it to sound good. But yeah, obviously, something a bit more compliant. And on the topic of compliance, what I have got here is a 200 cell sports cat. Now I'm going to make this demountable, so you'll notice I've put a couple of V-bands just loosely on there for now, and what I will do is make another section slightly longer than this bit, just for the demo, but it's essentially exactly the same length, so I can interchange these, you know, with essentially by undoing the V-band bolts, which will be accessible from underneath the car. But obviously, if there's any local constabulary watching, I will of course be running the decat all year round. Yeah, so that's the plan. So the first thing I think is to get the old system off, and the most tricky bit on my car is obviously the access around the alternator. So I need to get that bend up around the turbo, and as soon as we're sort of pointing down and away from the alternator, things will probably be a bit easier. So first things first, I'm going to remove the system and then we're going to cut the V-band here, and sorry, not cut the V-band, use this V-band and cut this bend as close to here as possible, and then I might have to run a pie cut just to sort of bring it out in the right direction first, but we'll get to all of that. Anyway, so let's remove that thing. That's all off then. So took the slam panel off as well, just to make access a bit easier. So for those who did the last one with me, you'll remember access is a real issue, specifically around where it comes to the alternator, which is why I have to sort of bring it this direction over here and then down and round. It's just the way the manifold's been made. So, and obviously with the alternator setup that I've got. So yeah, it's going to be a question of just tacking together a few of the pie cuts to begin with, and yeah, trying to get it round. It's going to look very similar to the old one, I think. I'm almost tempted to cut the old one up, but that does mean I wouldn't be able to use it, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start again. So yeah, anyway, let's tape together a few pie cuts and see if we can get it looking roughly right. Right, I've got my first idea of what needs to happen. I need to shorten this 90-degree pipe by about an inch. Probably the width of that bit of tape will be lovely. I thought I'd just show you actually how I do my cuts, because I don't have the luxury of a bandsaw, I don't have a belt sander, and obviously you want the cuts to be as flat as possible, so that when you butt them up to another piece, they're obviously flush and can weld really nice. So what I do is I mount my angle grinder in the vise, and I use a 1mm cutting disc. Now I go to the range and get these. They're about £2 or £3 for a couple, and they're really good. And essentially by doing this, you can ever so slowly walk round the cut on the edge of the tape, really nice and steady, and you can get a really nice clean cut, and then obviously just finish it up with a flappy paddle, again also from the range for a couple of quid. Yeah, I mean they're probably not the most robust wheels. I'm sure you could probably get ones that last a bit better, but you know, I could probably build my whole exhaust system with all the cuts I need to do maybe using 2 wheels, so generally pretty good. So let's cut this one and I'll show you what it looks like. Right, so I've just chucked the flappy paddle at that just to make sure it's nice and all deburred. But if I use the bit that I've just cut off, but the bit that it came with, like the machined, well I say machined end, the properly cut end, should we say, and if I offer that up just to show you like what you can expect, I think hopefully you can see that actually, yeah, it's pretty flat cut, pretty good by doing by hand, I think. I can't think of a better way to do it, to be honest. So what I tend to do then is, if you get any high spots, I just mark them with a marker and then just hit it with a flappy wheel, and that tends to do the job, and obviously I can weld with that and that'll work. So let's offer this up and see what we've got to work with. Right, that's the first section all taped up. You can sort of see what I'm trying to do, bend it away from the alternator and then down. The reason why I can't just go straight down is, yeah, the alternator is just plain straight in the way, so I've got no other option than to bring it forward and then round and down. So that's the first section. So I'm going to go and get this tacked up and then get it tacked onto the V-band, and then I've also started thinking about the second section after that. You have to be careful when you do these, because you don't want to end up putting it into a position where you just can't get out for the next bit, so you kind of have to think the next bit in front. So I've already sort of loosely done the next bit, which will point us underneath the oil filter. So let me get tacked up on this one and we'll see what it looks like.
Right, here we go. Bits here, little wings, all in. We'll get them all in. There she goes.
Right, we've got the first resemblance of a downpipe in, so we've avoided the alternator, so I bent it towards the front of the car and down a little bit and then put a 90 in. This couple of sections here essentially are designed to pull it under and around the alternator, and then obviously we go just down there, you'll see we're starting to go in the right direction. So I need a little straight section now and then a 90 to go under the sump, and I think that's probably as far as we'll take that bit before I do a full weld on it. And then obviously I have to think about putting in the what do you call it, external wastegate pipe into the downpipe somewhere, and putting a lambda boss in and all that kind of stuff. But I'd always prefer to do those bits once it's welded, because then it won't move when I'm trying to drill it so much. So yeah, we're getting there. let me figure out the next little bit down there, the next little 90, and then we'll do a full weld, I think. Okay then, Saxo fans, this is where we're at. So I managed to get to the bend here, which is essentially turning it towards the back of the car, so pleased with that. Yeah, so I'm fairly sure that's going to fit. I'm just going to trial fit it one more time, and then yeah, we can go for a full weld of this section. And I feel like maybe this particular point here is maybe where the V-band might start for the cat, but maybe a little bit further back, I'll have to see. Starting to get to a bit of a restriction where I really need to get the car up in the air. But yeah, let's offer that up and see what it looks like.
Beautiful. Okay. When I like put them how they're supposed to be, make them OE. Okay. There we go. To do.
Well, this is a collection of everything that's come back from the body shop so far. It's all looking very nice. It's as clean as it'll ever be. Looking good. So doors and boot are with the body shop now, and the car is going in a couple of days. Right, here we are then. So back to reality underneath the car. So I've just popped the cat on the jack just to sort of offer it up. I think I want to try and put it just underneath the sump there, because essentially you can get half the cat tucked up underneath the car, trying to make it not its lowest point. Yeah, I think what I need to do is just adjust this 90 here, because at the moment it's just going to miss. I think really I need to sort of bring it down, yeah, sort of 15-20 degrees, and this is what I meant earlier on about ending up putting a bit of pipe where you sort of stuff yourself in the future. So I'm going to have to put a cut here and just rotate that pipe a little bit, but that's okay, it's easily done. And then yeah, the cat will live, you know, somewhere in and around here. So I think I'm at a point where I might just tack the V-bands on here, both ends. I might then make up the D-cat version, because obviously I want to make sure both will fit, and then we'll cut this, I think. So let's get them tacked on and see what we're dealing with. Right then, welding fans, there we go. That's all, everything tacked up. Fairly happy with position. I might try and put a little bracket on this 90 to the gearbox potentially. But the next thing is, other than fully welding it properly, is to get the wastegate sorted. Sorry about the brightness. There we go. Yeah, we'll get the wastegate. So I'm just waiting for my flange to turn up, and then we'll get that drilled in and put the lambda boss in, probably in a similar place to where it was before. So we'll do that. But actually at the moment the car's going to the body shop in a couple of days, so I need to take all this off and put the original one back on, just for the transport so we can drive it. Yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a headache, but we got there in the end. There we go then guys, forgive the noise in the background, that's the welder. Just thought I'd show you my welds. Not the best, but probably not the worst, you'll see. Did this side first, you can see where I got my eye in and then perhaps improved a little bit over this side. Yeah, fairly happy with that, jobs are good. And so that's the cat I welded. Now I need to make the appropriate section which has no cat in it. Well then guys, so we're going to pause the exhaust just for now because the car's going to the body shop day after tomorrow and I probably won't have any time to work on it tomorrow anyway. So basically the car's all ready, it's all been stripped off, there's nothing left out to take off. I just need to clear out the back of all the stuff I've dumped in there. When it comes back we'll obviously get this finished. I need to order a couple of silencers, a couple of straight sections. Obviously I've got a couple of 45s as well, still got loads of pie cuts left. So I think when it comes back from the body shop, I probably won't be putting any bits on straight away. I think what I'll actually do is finish the exhaust system while it's all, sort of, easily accessible and I'm not going to damage anything. I think I'll probably have to put the rear bumper on so I can figure out where the tailpipe's going to come out. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So anyway, let's for now get the car on a truck and over to the body shop. Hello Saxo fans, right, we are on our way to the body shop. Today is the big day. It is time to put some paint on the car. I did nip into the body shop in the week and saw it in primer and it looks like they've done a cracking job. I'm really pleased with it. So when we get there I'll do you a quick walk around the car, show you what the deal is and where we're at, and yeah, hopefully watch the paint go on today and hopefully it looks good. Anyway, we're on the final stretch, I think. Let's do it.
Go on there.
Right, while we're waiting for the paint to go off, we'll have a quick look at some of the bits that are here. So this is all now waiting for the texture stuff to go on. And the bumper as well. And here's the door, all painted up, ready to go. So we're going to hang the doors in the body shop and then ship the car home with the doors and the boot already on. So, let's pull the car out.
I forgot the curtain.
Well, we're delighted to announce there's another one coming. And this time it's all about finding your ultimate awesome.
Once the boats are in, the countdown chart is going to be hosted by a man who's pretty great in another costume.
Gary Davis on your radio. That's right. We want your help to choose your ultimate awesome.
There we go then, Saxo fans. So, car is painted. I wasn't able to be in the booth, obviously, for obvious reasons of all the paint fumes. So I had to just leave my GoPro in there. Obviously, I only showed you one coat, but it had 3 coats. It had lacquer and all that kind of stuff. If you want to know paint specs and stuff, I can get that for you. But yeah, we chose a water-based paint. Yeah, proper nice stuff. Well, I mean, I don't know paints at all. You know, I know nothing about paint. But according to the guys, they were pretty happy about what we were using. So anyway, that's all done. So the car's going to sit now for the weekend. They'll come back to it on Monday. It'll get polished, and then we'll hang the doors on it, hang the boot on it, and then it can come back on the trailer then. And then we can start putting things back together, this end back in the workshop. You notice I've had a little bit of a move around in the garage. We're prepping for a move, probably got about 4 or 5 weeks before we start moving. So I've had a bit of a clear out, moved things around. Also picked up another bike for the summer. So yeah, it's going to be a bit tight in here, but I'm hoping with a little bit of a rejig we've had that we can probably get the bike and the car in together. But yeah, so I mean, I'm absolutely delighted with what the body shop did. If you wanted any work doing, it's Perfect Finish in Coventry. Typically their bread and butter is insurance work. And obviously just they took my job on because I knew the guys there, and they were obviously happy to do another Saxo. But yeah, if you did want stuff doing there, then give them a shout. Honestly, I'm so pleased with what they've done. I mean, everything is just perfect. The attention to detail, you know, the feedback they give me, the communication, just everything is great. And don't be wrong, it is not cheap. Painting cars these days is not cheap. But I mean, if you're going to pay money for any paint work, then these are the guys you want doing it. I'm absolutely over the moon with what they've done. So Perfect Finish in Coventry. But anyway, so next episode we'll have the car back here and we'll start putting it back together. See you then.